Hey, we're into the final kind of countdown to our midterm exam here. And I want to drop you a little video to walk you through maybe some of the stuff we talked about in class the other day in a pretty coherent, straightforward way that will maybe give you an opportunity to prepare. Hopefully you've already gotten a good start on what you're going to be doing for your midterm exam, but if we're into kind of putting it to the last minute, this might be helpful for you. So the first thing you should do is, if you haven't done so already, select a topic. And if you don't even know what the topics are, because you've been, I don't know where, go into the course Blackboard shell, look under announcements, and the information will be there. So what you got to do is go into our class 202 under the kind of Blackboard drop-down menu, and then you'll see just right at the top it says midterm exam Tuesday. So inside that it says midterm exam topics, and there's a Word doc that's going to open that for you, and if you open that up, you should be able to take a look at what you got going on. So first off, our exam is on Tuesday, March 1st. And there's two main sections to the exam. So the first is going to take our historical thinking framework and just matching those definitions to the actual skills and factors of evaluated evidence. So what do you need to know? You need to know historical significance. You need to know historical agency and contingency. You need to know continuity and change, progress and decline. You need to know empathy and moral judgment, as well as our evaluating evidence skill, which is split into then our four other definitions to get us to 10. So you'll have political, economic, social, and cultural factors as the other four definitions. So you'll have 10 right off the bat definitions that you need to have right on the front. So the goal of the exam is pretty straightforward. It's to see that you first know these skills, and then also that you can use them to describe a historical situation. And this is what we've been doing week in, week out, hopefully on our HTAs. This is why I continually encourage you to practice those skills as you work on your HTAs each week. It's also similar to what we've been doing on our quizzes, except you will select the topic instead of me putting a question on there. You will choose one of four things. So if you go into that document, you know the first part, you're going to have to match those definitions. It should be 10 easy points to show me that you know what they are, because before I can determine if you know how to use them, I need to know that you know what those definitions are. So the first section tasks you with matching the 6 aspects of historical thinking, as well as the 4 factors of evaluating evidence with the rightful definition. Then we move on to what I think of as the harder part. The second section tasks you with thoroughly analyzing one of the topics through the 6 aspects of historical thinking, as well as the 4 factors of evaluating evidence in an essay format. So you have your pick. You can do the development of the American West, you could do the Chicago World's Fair, you could do Jim Crow, or you could do the Spanish-American War. And all of those have a little bit of wiggle room. You need to pick which topic is right for you. Maybe there's a topic in there that you knew a little bit more about coming in. Maybe that's when you were really focused in the class that week. You put together a good HTA, did a good job on that quiz. You have good notes that you can look at. And that's one of the things that I think will give you an opportunity to be successful. I give you 4 options. You just have to choose one and only one to use throughout the entirety of the exam. And I expect you to come in knowing your stuff and be able to use these aspects of historical thinking to talk about these things. Each of them has probably advantages and disadvantages. Development of the American West is a very broad topic. You could talk about indigenous peoples, which we've done at several points throughout the course. You could talk about the rise of industrialization, and that's similar for the Chicago World's Fair question. You could use those first 4 weeks in the course. We talked about the Industrial Revolution in America and how that was on display at the Chicago World's Fair. You could talk about changes happening for different peoples, especially indigenous peoples. You could talk about how Chicago represents these industrial efficient systems, particularly through cattle and meat packing and some of those kind of things. It's kind of up to you. If that makes sense to you, maybe that's the way to go. The Jim Crow section gives you a chance. Maybe that's something that really stuck with you. Maybe that's a couple of few questions you've put together, whether it be about Booker T. Washington, whether it be about Ida B. Wells, whether it be some of the stuff we talked about with Reconstruction in the American South and Jim Crow rising. If that makes sense, choose that one. Maybe the Spanish-American War, you're really interested in America's empire, looking at the annexation of Hawaii. Maybe you're thinking about talking about the U.S. and the Philippines. Maybe you're talking about the U.S. and Cuba. Maybe you're talking about all of it, to give you plenty of examples to draw from as you write out your essay responses. And again, I want to stress that this is essay similar to what I ask you to do on your quizzes. Each Thursday I want you to write out probably 5 to 7 sentences in the historical agency, historical significance, continuity and change, progress and decline, as well as that empathy and moral judgment section. And then your evaluating evidence section will be 3 smaller subsections. In those, I want you to write probably 3 to 5 sentences, where you're going to be looking at specifically political factors, economic factors, social and cultural factors together as a third category. And as you do that, what I'm most kind of interested in seeing you do is putting together your specific kind of ability to pair the topic with the historical thinking framework. So maybe you're going to be talking about similar things section to section. This isn't an exercise in seeing how many facts you can memorize. Do you need evidence to bring in there? Sure. But it's more important that you're showing me that you know what these skills mean and how to apply them to a historical situation. So part of that is maybe identifying objective continuities and changes and then bringing them into your progress and decline section to talk about for whom was each individual continuity and change a progress or decline. To do that, you're probably linking with your historical agency section and going, well, Jim Crow was a change because it represented the rise of lynching in the American South. It was a continuity because it was going to be an extension of some of the racial ideologies that had allowed slavery to fester in the American South from the beginning of the United States. The continuity of racial superiority in the South was progress for the white elite. It's going to be decline for the recently freed African-American population in the South. And there, you're linking those skills together, really showing me what you can do. And you can do that with any of the topics that we have. I want you to be thinking about that. Don't use bullet points. I'll throw a test in the trash. I promise you, you'll get a 0. Make sure that you're putting together paragraphs. So to do that, the easiest strategy is to write an introduction sentence in each one. So if you were doing the Spanish-American War, you could say the Spanish-American War was historically significant because it represented an expansion of the United States beyond sea to sea. It opened overseas markets to American commerce, and it allowed the United States military to modernize. If those are the 3 things you're talking about, then you've put them together in that topic sentence. You could then explain each of those in the subsequent sentences, maybe with a sentence for each, and then conclude it. You'd probably be close to where you need to be for that individual paragraph, and then you repeat that throughout the different sections. So as you do that, make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. We will be kind of thinking about this for the rest of the semester. This is exactly what your final exam is going to look like as well. I'm going to grade these Tuesday afternoon after you guys complete them, hopefully, so you'll be able to get those scores. And then we're going to kind of use that as a kind of check-in point for the rest of the semester. So if you are setting yourself up for success, you'll show up tomorrow ready to go with kind of a very strong ability to show me that you know what these historical thinking skills are and that you can use them on the exam to explain one individual topic. So as you get ready, if you have specific questions, feel free to reach out to me via email. We'll have history help and hang this evening in the ACE. At 7 p.m. We got some other stuff going on, but that could be a good check-in point also to get some questions answered. Otherwise, just put your best foot forward. Think about what notes you have, think about what you know about, maybe look at those HTAs, and then show up ready to go tomorrow. This is one of those things you can easily prepare for, and I want to see you doing your best work. Good luck preparing, and I will see you tomorrow for the exam.